well, you're looking here at the image for the project, and we are 3 female queer live artists aged 36 to 75, and I'm Open B, and currently I'm in England.
And I'm Jatun Risba, currently in Italy. You're muted. Danielle, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I'm going to be muting and unmuting because there's a bit of background noise here. So yes, I'm Daniele Minns and I'm currently in Spain.
And we are the 3 artists who facilitated an innovative international project, Becoming Tree, which ran seasonally between 2020 and 2021, the time of the pandemic. Becoming Tree created a global digital community of live artists who physically performed locally to themselves with audiences who witnessed remotely from afar.
And the idea of the whole project started from a live-streamed ecofeminist performance born out of urgency by Jatun Risba, the speaker, in which I lay naked in complete stillness for 1 hour on an uprooted tree in local woods in Slovenia. And through this action of civil disobedience because of the timing in which it was made, it was the beginning of the pandemic, I was reclaiming the importance of physicality, of proximity, and reciprocity for both human and planetary well-being, while sensing and expressing the interdependence of all forms of life, human, non-human, and more than human. And the performance addressed and creatively subverted the pandemic-related social disruption and its mental health devastating measures of physical distancing.
I experienced the event online, remotely, in a locked-down London, in an urban environment, and I was very touched and affected by the tranquility and the stillness that was transmitted to me, and also a real sense of connection with the artist and the artist's environment, and the almost a tactile sensation of laying on this horizontal tree. And not only that, it was a real sense of connection with all of the other viewers who were watching from different parts of the world and were connecting via chat. And remember, this was a time when people were very isolated. So after the artist, I conversed with the artist for a while. After some conversations, we decided to make this into a collective performance event. And we invited international live artists and movers to simultaneously perform their own 1 hour live stream actions for the same 1 hour period from their different locations, their own local woodlands or trees, for 1 hour, and live stream the activity to a shared Zoom screen to be watched in gallery view. For an online global audience. This led to 4 seasonal events involving over 70 live artists in Europe, Asia, Africa, South and North America, and Oceania.
Individual artists. Becoming Tree became a collective eco-art action to support reforestation and solidarity during the pandemic, while offering live artists, dancers, movers, and creators a lifeline between themselves, global others, and the earth. You can see some of their individual performances that were done while the audience saw them all together. You can see some were inside, depending on the pandemic restrictions, and some were outside. So everyone was very creative. The live streamed project actually showcased international artists via a hive. So this was a hive of Zoom windows in gallery view. So those were close-ups. This is the gallery view, as you can see. And we chose this format because it mirrors the very alive, horizontal, rhizomatic growth, like the underground network of fungus, for instance. This was to challenge the idea that within much of art performance, the individual is seen to be the most important aspect, whereas we were wanting also to say make important the shared ecology. This way of viewing multiple artists moving simultaneously offers a sense of global community, while also highlighting differing sensory experiences of the artists. This sensory physicality and kinetic energy being live streamed could be sensed and picked up by the mirror neuronal pathways within the dispersed audience, thereby creating complex links at many levels. We suggest that within such focused live performances, where even online, the artist's intentions and actions embedded in their live performances, their embodied presence, potentially provides nourishment for communal neural tissues. And we further suggest that the vibrational energy from plant life and more than humans beings also gets transferred via the performances. There are layers of multi-species sensory data promoting interpenetration across digital and physical and spiritual fields.
And as the theme, the topic of the open call to which the artists responded was very open. It was just like becoming tree. That was the topic that they had to address in their action. The artists had the possibility and the freedom to address the theme in various ways. And some were, for example, and all these different ways were made in response to the actual living surrounding in which they were trapped, or they were just living at the moment, and also just from having to engage with nature, with the ecosystem over a sustained period of time, that proved to be extremely healing, and for their and offered well-being, and they gained peace out of this experience, and also like a sense of being part of a global community of artists during a period of social and artistic isolation. And this, like, because of that, many artists who were otherwise totally marginalized, disenfranchised, and dropped of physical audiences gained a sense of resilience, and also through an inclusive online platform from which they were able to produce and share their work for free, while also supporting rainforest plantations. So it was like a plant collective eco action. And a participant in urban India, for example, who was not able even to leave her home due to strict lockdowns, she presented a very beautiful and creative performance in which she was interacting with home plants, and at the same time gaining this very nourishing and healing sensation of being part of a community, global community of artists, and also being able to have contact with global audiences on the screen. But there is no sound.
Was there no music?
No, there was no sound. Okay. Yeah, here it is.
Okay, so sorry about that technical hitch. As we learnt in this process, technical hitches can happen. So we discovered in our first event that we couldn't use artists' individual sound. And so we tried for the next event to use some recorded music made from tree harps, which are harps made out of living trees. And then after that, we had live music from Talking Trees, which is a Dutch outfit who create music from tree data. Now I'm going to try and go back and see if I can get the sound on this one, because it does. Can we hear this now? Okay.
We go up.
Up.
Very, very faint there.
Okay. Let's see if I can do something about this share computer sound. Now maybe this is going to be better.
Yes.
Okay. You'd think we'd have got the hang of it by now. But anyway, these things happen. So as you can see, there's live music being played from a studio in Holland, and the music's made from tree data. And the artists, a lot of them could listen to the music while they were doing the performance, and the fact they were listening to the same soundscape gave a real sense of connection with one another and unity. And some of them chose not to hear the music because also they wanted to engage with the natural sounds of their own surroundings. So Becoming Tree entangled international live artists with technology using simple mobile phone access. Audiences, many of whom, like me, were in the urban environments during lockdowns, could experience diverse ecosystems and myriad arts expressions simultaneously. They became part of an intergenerational global initiative, and also, as Jatun mentioned, gained ecological agency by the fact that there was rainforest tree planting embedded in the ticket sales. Audience and artists reported a sense of tranquility and connection with ecologies and with one another.
So the sense, I think, you've got a sense from what we've been saying, but the concept of becoming moves away from the idea of fixed and limiting identities and behaviors towards emerging presence, always arriving. Becoming flows and moves within liminal spaces. The artist Jatun Risba, who's here, coined the term be-coming to combine the essential nature of being, of embodying in the present, while also being open to what is yet coming. Becoming Tree's central perspective embraces blurred boundaries between self and others, between human and more than human, and between body, mind, and spirit. The sense of becoming was helped within the project because there was durational aspect of the work, as each iteration, because we did this 4 times, and each time sometimes more than 1 hour, each iteration of the performance was a simultaneous hour. The actual lived time was the same moment. However, the clock time might be very different. So you might have an artist 5 a.m. in somewhere in South America, and then 14 hours ahead on the clock, it might have been in the Japanese peninsula, but they actually were in the same lived time. So the artists and the audiences met in lived time. It's very important. It's perhaps another way to interpenetrate the digital and physical real world.
And as I was mentioning before, every artist had the freedom to really approach the topic in their own way and to reflect their personal interests and artistic approach. So many of artists chose to approach the topic in a very somatic way, with movement, for example, and we had like different ways, like different types of movement involved in performances like Buto, freestyle dance, stillness, standing still, crawling, or for example, many artists decided to perform some socially charged gestures like licking a block of ice, or hugging trees, or kissing a tree. Or, for example, using some slight altering tools like special lenses or microscopes, or even performing some very simple chemical experiments. So there were really a plentitude of different performances that one could experience unfolding simultaneously on the same shared screen, but also in some way reflect, let's say, the compound eyes of many animals. And this is also another way how this project really worked hard to open up or support an ecology of the senses and to bring the human closer to the more than human arena. And also the way of thinking, sensing, and being in the world was again a very like ecologically based one. So how to really to develop this close contact with the surrounding environment, and how to be and live in dialogue and rapport with the more than human earth.
This transformative movement highlights our connections and permeability in relation to local ecologies and each other, disrupting and transcending ideas of monoculture, anthropocentrism, and global borders. With minimal curation, Becoming Tree promoted inclusivity and self-empowerment and encouraged creative and intuitive flow. And the technology aspect opened media access for people of different generations, supporting media literacy and also redistributing power within live art.
We're really in a shared ecology at the moment, with the sounds coming from wherever we've managed to find ourselves and get the Wi-Fi. Yes, Becoming Tree developed ways to operate in an emergent way, supporting the ecosystem while locating trees, as you can see, and plant life on an equal footing with the artists. Very important. The trees and the plant life also became creative collaborators, innovation catalysts, and agents of beauty, bringing equal life energy. The art project experimented with placing non-human species and the global welfare center stage, and challenged what is often felt to be the vague or slippery notion of nature. The artists acknowledged and honored their interconnected surroundings, aware they are only one small aspect.
Becoming Tree contests the construct of an immovable link between progress and evolution, and top-down linear structures of power organization, It imposes and queers the capitalist processes of commodification of human, animal, and plant life. Instead, it promotes alternative, experiential, somatic modalities of horizontal growth based on the use of grassroots tools like simple mobile phones, Wi-Fi access, like technologies that everybody almost around the globe have access to. And this is also a very important aspect that we were really conscious about from the very beginning. So really how to be as inclusive and to, mostly everyone in this time of harshness. Also, like Becoming Tree used transformative economies by embedding tree planting donations in the ticket sale, as mentioned before, and also really fostered this sense of mutuality of the earthly community of life.
We plan to upscale Becoming Tree to become a live international event with ambassadors in different global locations, organising simultaneous collective art interventions in their local woodlands or ecologies, attended by live audiences and also on those that are online. Live artists who can be without physical audiences for many reasons of access could gain a sense of solidarity, which remains a necessity for disenfranchised and marginalised artists all over the world. As well as highlighting ecological concerns, this decentralised initiative highlights non-hierarchical, empowered ways of engaging, organising and connecting, while offering live artists across the globe ways to share work and engage in targeted eco-action.
These are the posters, and perhaps you said that, Dan, and I didn't hear. Yes, so we've come to the end, or coming to the end of our presentation on the project itself, and we wondered, we didn't know if you'd be watching this live or whether you're watching it on catch-up. So just a moment to transition for you is perhaps to just see how your body is feeling after hearing all the sounds. Some of them were nature sounds, some of them were coming from background cafe sounds, but on the screen there was amazing landscapes of deserts and forests and plants bigger than people. So we just wondered if you could just, depending where you are, just notice your surroundings. If you're indoors, away from any plant life at the moment, perhaps you want to close your eyes and imagine this. If you are out somewhere, perhaps you can look outwards, outside into the green, and just notice as you close your eyes, imagining that you are now walking into a forest or perhaps a park or a woodland, some open space, and just see how your body feels. How does it feel differently when you enter this space? And as you enter the space, you're being seen, you're being witnessed and watched by all these more than human beings. They're there, they've seen you arrive. And so just see, how does that feel to know that you're actually, perhaps you're surrounded by, or perhaps there's one plant that's just looking at you as you take in the colors and the smells. They're watching you do that. And then drink it all in. They're drinking you in, you can drink them in. So notice any shifts in your body as you are being witnessed by this wonderful being or beings. You are being welcomed into more than human. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Pen, and for this guided meditation. It was beautiful. And thanks to Prague Biennale for having us presenting this work with everyone.
Well, thank you so much, for your very interesting presentation. And we have really enjoyed. And I wanted to ask just briefly, is it still ongoing project? Are you planning some more sessions? And also a little bit, you said you are not curating so much the participants. They are free to join and just join the initiative and use any mediums, any forms of expression to actually to promote your thoughts.
There was something I did mean to say, which was when I mentioned that we'd like to make this into a local live event, that we'd love to hear from people who feel like they could help facilitate a becoming tree in their own area. We'd just like to start having those conversations with people. So do get in touch. The website, you will have seen the website, becomingtree.live, so you can contact us via the website or any other links.
Yes, at the moment, the project is hibernating, and we certainly have been growing roots underneath, connections with people, writing up the project, presenting the project, which is bringing in more and more people's interest. And as Dan said, the idea is to make this wider, more and more people becoming involved, and that takes some effort to pull it together. So when we actually did put the call out, we were in a situation, we wanted it to be as open a call as possible. We also wanted to get a good spread. So people did let us know, and there was a lot of technical preparation to get the performances together. So our wish and dream is for this to become internationally dispersed again.
Yeah, as much like decentralized as possible. And like Danielle mentioned in the talk, we would like to have ambassadors in many different continents and countries that can help us organize this, otherwise quite demanding project. And also we need to find some proper funding to just make it sustainable as well. And about the curation, we were really like as inclusive as possible, because we said no to some of the applications as well, and mostly like to those who were problematic because of the actions we sense that there might be like some like that the action was too violent, or like perhaps inappropriate, because it was maybe not respectful either of the other of people or of other beings. So that was like a criteria, like non-aggressive or like non.
I think I understand, because
action.
it's really necessary. And I understand that you mean to address your project to a wider public, to anybody. So it's sometimes appropriate to have slight
some basic
curation.
rules. Yes.
Yeah. Not to join any radical or have this kind of question. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we really enjoyed your presentation, and hopefully you will have some new applications soon, and we keep our fingers crossed for your initiative. I think it's important also nowadays. I feel also the meditative message and an importance to sometimes really relax and try to feel from inside, and try to really embody a tree. It's so necessary, especially in our daily city lives.
Thank you for
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.